So who we are. Carl is he's a full-time CPA marketer. Right now he's focusing solely on media buys for all his traffic, and he does very well with it. He doesn't like to admit it very often, but he's the expert of experts, I consider him. Myself, I am not a big-time media buy player yet, but I'm working on it. I've done several large ones already, and getting better at it. But the reason we partnered up is I also own another site, ppccoach.com. I've trained quite a few affiliates over the past 2 years and beyond, and we figured it was a good match for Carl and I to team up and start training people on how to do affiliate or media buys. So I also own a CPA network, and I've been doing this full-time since 2004, so been at it quite a while, and we think we have a good 1-2 punch here with Carl and I.
Perfect. Thanks, Will, for doing that. And this is Carl again. So I want to talk a little bit how I got first into affiliate marketing and internet marketing, and then media buys as well. Started about a year ago. I was working just out of college, graduated Arizona State, was studying computer information systems, and then I moved to Portland, Oregon from Arizona to work for Intel right out of college, and that was in May of 2008, so a little over a year ago. And I did that for a while, and that was okay. I enjoyed it, but really kind of itched to do something else. I wanted to do something online. I wanted to make more money, and I knew internet marketing was a way to go for that. So in September of 2008, I joined PPC Coach, and I also just took on affiliate marketing. Basically, that's when I started taking it really seriously. I didn't know what I was doing with paid traffic, but I knew I didn't like SEO, and I knew I didn't want to deal with. I'm an impatient person. I really don't want to deal with waiting for traffic. I want to spend money and get instant results. So I started with PPC in September of 2008. Didn't go too well for the first couple of months. I had some minor successes, but I mostly just lost money slowly for the first few months. It wasn't until like early December that I got profitable. I was using Google Content, and I tried every traffic source. I tried Google Search, Google Content, Yahoo Search, MSN Search and Content, Facebook, and a little Pulse 360 and a few other small ones too. None of them had great success on, but Google Content was just easier for me. I was doing banners on Google Content, and I'd make all these banners and test them out, and it was really easy for me to get volume with Google Content. So in December of 2008, that's when I had my first pivotal point where you have that first $100 day, and then I scaled that, and later that month I was doing about $1K a day profit in December. So that was just overwhelming and awesome. And in the following months I continued pretty well, and then February came along, and then that's when I quit working for Intel and started to do affiliate marketing full-time. So I continued doing more Google Content. I kind of just focused all my energy. Everything I did was just banners, 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 because I figured if I were to specialize only in that, I would get better and better and better at it, versus trying to dominate other traffic sources. I just focused all my energy on Google Content. And around the same time, I also met up with an advertiser, and I wanted to try one of his offers out. But I know using Google was just a pain. I was getting slapped left and right, and it was a roller coaster. As I'm sure everyone else knows with internet marketing, it's just one month can be massive, and the other month can just be blah. So I knew media buys was kind of the way I wanted to go, especially that my specialization was all banners. That's all I did. So I did continue with PPC and Google Content for a while, but I started my research in media buys, and it wasn't until May and June that the revenue really started to pick up, and kind of the light clicked on what to go for, and how to approach media buys a little bit. And from June to September, I generated just under $900,000 in gross revenue. So, and that's pretty good revenue for media buys, but really it's just scratching the surface. Really, the potential to do that monthly, I think, is really, I wouldn't say easy, because it's never easy, but it is absolutely there. And those are my personal goals too, are to do 7-figure months. so that's kind of a little timeline for you of how I kind of got started and kind of how I progressed and why I ended up in media buys, mostly because my attention was always focused on just banners, image ads, and I needed to get away from Google completely because as a full-time marketer, my income was coming from Google completely, and that just, it scared the crap out of me. So I wanted to get away from Google, but yet I wanted to stay with my focus, which was basically image ads and banners. Okay, one last slide. How I got into media buys was using Google content. I had a few sites that I basically advertised on through Google content. I used keyword targeting, but I watched my referring URLs like a hawk, like anyone does that's doing well on Google content. It's all about where the traffic's coming from, not just the ad group, but the URL. So I would really focus hard on where the traffic was coming from, find the best sites, and then make new ad groups to target that site, and then just keep making more ad groups and more, and then split testing my banners a lot. So I was able to do that really well. Google content getting, I think this is, February, I was getting like 50,000 clicks a day. This is through Google content, all off one site, one banner size. And that kind of gives you an idea. This is one site here that's, within the Alexa 1000 basically, and it's one ad size, and it's generating 50,000 clicks a day. That's just a small slice of traffic, like almost microscopic in comparison to the other placements, and multiple placements overall combined. So just that much volume, can generate significant revenue, but still just a small slice of the traffic that's really out there. So when I was advertising on the site, I did eventually go direct with them. So instead of going through Google content, which is where I found them, I then went direct to them, and now I purchase inventory right off of them directly. And I get a much better ROI for that, going direct, and I have a lot more stability. So the campaign, it's impossible to get slapped. Going direct, that word does not exist. It's just a matter of following the rules of the publisher, and as long as you do that, you're golden. Okay. Now, media buys, it's easy to get a lot of misconceptions about media buys because if you're not really into the space heavily, you kind of have all these misconceptions, and so did I when I got in. I thought that the only place to do the buys was with big networks. I needed $10,000–$20,000 to get started, and it's just not the case. So I kind of want to go through them one by one here. And that's first one: you need to be a huge affiliate to consider media buys, and that's not really the case. There are places where you do need a bigger minimum purchase, but you can start small. You can start really small. I mean, you don't need to go to a network and spend $10,000. That brings to the next one is that you need 10K, and that's just not the case. Depending on where you get your traffic from, you can go to direct sites, which we'll talk about later, and there's opportunities for 1K buys, 2K buys, and you can prepay only 50% to start off, and then you can negotiate anything you want. Basically, everything in media buys is negotiable. Everything. So the opportunities for smaller buys are there, and these small buys aren't ones that have like low volume. These are places where you can spend a significant amount of money. The next one is media buying is mysterious and complicated. I would personally consider something like Google search to be more complicated, in that there's no quality score. There's no mysterious. You need the X content on your landing page or domain. You need to have relevancy. Relevancy is out the door. You don't need any of that. It's simply putting your banner ad in the middle of this traffic and seeing what happens. Obviously, there is more complicated details to it, but once you get the hang of it, it really is the same on every single direct publisher I purchase from.